Tonight on 7 News, NAPLAN meltdown. Australia's national test wiped out by a massive IT glitch. Hundreds of thousands of students impacted. America unleashes its biggest attack of the war, smashing Iran. The AFL's controversial crackdown on drugs. Does it go far enough? Safe and sound, a happy ending in the case of the stolen cavoodle. Sports presenter Mel McLaughlin reveals the secret that's kept her off our screens. Melbourne crowned the best city in the world. What swayed the judges? And Sam Mitchell's message to his star players after their drunken US arrest.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 News with Peter Mitchell.
Good evening. NAPLAN testing has been thrown into chaos after a website meltdown left thousands of Victorian students in limbo. The tech failure forced authorities to stop the test for hours, and tonight they still can't say what caused the outage.
Hands shot up just moments into the test. Technical issues forcing schools to pause NAPLAN on day one.
I've just spoken to the NAPLAN people from the department and they said it's not just our school, it's lots of schools are having a problem, so we're going to reschedule the test for another day.
Approximately 9:20 this morning, we became aware of a technical issue and that was affecting students being able to log on to the platform.
Some were midway through when the system crashed, others never made it past the login. More than 1 million students nationwide instructed to pause.
Yeah, look, it's obviously not the start we want, is it, on the first day of testing. This has been a disruption in schools and apologise for that disruption.
We would have had kids land in that test today with some anxiety, and I think when it crashed, we certainly would have seen a bit of that anxiety added too.
Testing resumed 2 hours later, but what caused the problem is still unclear.
It's a bit too early, to be honest, to know exactly what's happened at the technical end.
The government, education ministers and education authorities had one job and they failed.
NAPLAN moved online in 2022 after more than a decade of paper testing. Year 3 students still complete their assessments the old way and weren't impacted by the glitch.
Yeah, I'm a great believer in paper and pencil and the old school methods.
NAPLAN isn't a race. There's a job here, and it's for our teachers, it's for our principals out there, and it's also for our parents to remind our kids that it's all good.
Live now to state political reporter Rochelle Brown. And Rochelle, take us through what's next for the students.
Well, Mitch, the NAPLAN authority says the situation is far too complex for one simple solution. Some students were able to resume their tests today. Others weren't quite as lucky. It means that schools will have to take in many other considerations, like things like school camps, but they are leaving it up to those schools to make the individual decision about when works best for their students. Mitch?
Rochelle Brown, thank you. A ridiculous joke. That's how heartbroken families feel about the sanction handed to a Melbourne aged care home for its mismanagement during COVID. St Basil's was fined $150,000 today, roughly $3,000 for each of the 45 lives lost at the height of the pandemic.
It was a case that gripped the nation, a COVID outbreak that killed 45 aged care residents. Their families hoped today would bring justice.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a joke.
These people were placed in there to be taken care of.
This morning, St Basil's was convicted and fined for failing to train its staff. The penalty, $150,000.
Such lenient sentences. The law's got to change.
4 months into the pandemic, 5 staff had not received COVID training, and when one got sick, the virus spread, quickly killing dozens of residents.
There was a set standard of practices that they had to follow, everyone had to follow, and they weren't.
WorkSafe took 2 years to hit St Basil's with 9 charges, but only one made it through the court process. Today, the judge was forced to sentence on that charge alone.
You want to talk about the pub test? That's one that doesn't pass the test.
Maxine's mum was in St Basil's. She will never get over the guilt.
We made the decision for her to go there. Cannot describe it. That's going to weigh on me. until I die.
After what has been a painful and prolonged court process, no one from St Basil's came to the sentencing today. Families say it's a final slap in the face.
Someone has to be held accountable. Someone has to answer for 45 lives lost.
Jacqueline Stanley, 7 News.
A bomb scare forced dozens of office workers to be evacuated from the St Kilda Road towers around 10 this morning. Specialist police cordoned off the area to investigate a suspicious bag. They finally declared the area safe more than 3 hours after the initial emergency call. Australia is being accused of holding members of Iran's soccer team hostage after an about-face from one of its players. Her decision to return home exposing the location of 6 teammates who chose to stay.
Part of her team's now infamous silent protest before coming on as a substitute against South Korea.
21-year-old Mohadesh Zolfi in her first Asian Cup.
Lioness striker Mohadessa Zolfi had already embraced everything Australian while in Perth to play the Matildas in 2023. And last night, along with team official Zara Sultan Moshkeka, joining the other 5 players calling Australia home.
I met with them last night. They were physically and emotionally exhausted.
But with her other teammates safe and apparently happy in Malaysia, Mohadessa Zolfi called several of them.
And had changed her mind.
Concerned about what staying would mean for her family in Iran, she called Iran's Australian chargé d'affaires, Hossein Talebi, who collected her. But that created a big problem. The Iranian authorities now knew exactly where the other players were staying. Their safe house, suddenly unsafe.
I immediately gave the instruction for people to be moved.
The minister says he's satisfied the young striker hadn't been pressured.
This was her decision, and every question you would want asked was asked.
All the other players were offered humanitarian visas at Sydney Airport last night, and all declined. Iran's Football Federation president claiming those who have stayed are being held against their will.
In this incident, they are taking our girls hostage.
Rubbish, says the government, as Brisbane's women's soccer team says the Lionesses can roar with them.
For us as a football club, we want to give all of the ladies a home and somewhere to feel safe to play their football.
Looking at re-entering politics, Clive Palmer cashing in, offering them $10,000 each to kickstart their Australian lives with this challenge.
And I'd encourage other wealthy Australians such as Angus Taylor to join me and match my donation.
Not exactly a sporting challenge. Mark Riley, 7 News.
The US is bombing Iranian boats, laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz as the battle to secure global trade intensifies. The death toll from the war across the Middle East has now climbed above 1,700. Most of those killed are in Iran, while Lebanon and Israel are counting their losses. 170 US soldiers have been injured in this war, as America claims it was unleashing its most aggressive day of attacks.
In Tehran, the sprint for survival. Go, go, this man shouts as America hits harder than ever before. A volley of strikes that barely let up.
Our most intense day of strikes inside Iran.
More civilians are being swept up in this conflict. Here, a man shaken but alive is pulled from this Tehran apartment block, but not everyone made it out. This man's relative among 40 killed. America says Iran is running out of firepower, but the nation's most powerful weapon could be its geography, the ability to strangle the Strait of Hormuz. The US systematically destroying Iran's ships, one after another, taking out vessels suspected of laying explosive mines.
We will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard trains to take out ships, cargo killers on a vital shipping route. And tonight, a second trade path is now under threat, while the Strait of Hormuz gateways a fifth of the world's oil, the Bab al-Mandeb Strait is also vital, flow point from the Suez Canal for oil, household goods between Europe and Asia. It's called the Gate of Tears, where Houthi rebels have threatened attacks on world shipping if strikes on Iran continue. Iran still desperately fights back, here launching suicide drones and long-range missiles, most toward Israel. This one shot down over Tel Aviv. They are bigger than a bus.
Well, this is the weapon that has defined this war, the ballistic missile. This is just one fuel cell. They're usually more than twice this long. And more of them are carrying these cluster bombs.
Up to 50 of them each, 20 kilos apiece, and able to dodge Iron Dome defences.
You don't have any chance to survive.
Lethal too when they're intercepted and fall from the sky. It's unclear how many more Iran has. But as police delivered their briefing on Iran's missile threat,
siren.
Alarms warn of another incoming round.
Guys!
The briefing was brief. Everyone ordered to take shelter. In Lebanon, they have none of the defences. Israel strikes intensifying in the hunt for Hezbollah. Even Christian communities hit, with 700,000 people now fleeing their homes. The prayers for an end unanswered.
And Chief Reporter Chris Reason is in Tel Aviv. Chris, Donald Trump's been hinting of an end to the war, but it seems Israel may not be on the same page.
Mitch, military analysts are saying that Israel is moving at a significantly different tempo to the US. And in the last week alone, they've been carrying out 3 times as many strikes as America has. The feeling here is that Israel simply does not want this war to end just yet, that this is a unique opportunity for them to take out and degrade the weapons and facilities that Iran and Hezbollah has before either of those can make another strike on Israel again. Mitch?
Chris Reason in Tel Aviv, thank you. The cost of fuel has shot up in Melbourne by as much as 20 cents a litre today. Unleaded is now selling for $2.40 in many places, with diesel up to $2.60. One retailer told 7 News that's still at or below cost.
If you add all, the taxes, the excise, GSTs and everything else, we're lucky to make the crumb, really, at the end of it.
And spare a thought for motorists in regional New South Wales, where unleaded 91 was $3.40 a litre this afternoon. The AFL is overhauling its controversial illicit drugs policy, ditching the 3 strikes system in favour of hair testing. The crackdown is set to remove a major loophole which kept positive test results top secret.
Tackling drug use off the field.
It's a tougher policy. It's certainly overdue.
We're not done yet. I'd say we're getting close.
The major overhaul will strike out the 3 strikes system.
They knew that they weren't going to be sanctioned until they really crossed the line a few times.
Urine samples will be replaced with hair testing, which can detect substances in your system for up to 3 months, and shaving your head won't deter doctors.
It can be the back of your knee or the top of your ankle. So wherever you've got a bit of hair, you've got to provide that hair. There'll be some positive tests come out because we do know there are players out there that are getting caught up in the social scene.
For the first time since its launch in 2017, the AFLW will reportedly be included in the policy, and the medical program is hoping to hold players more accountable.
So that if you are getting help, there's a responsibility that you take up that help.
If guys are slipping through the cracks, well then some adjustment needed to happen, and if that's happening and they send that through, well then we're obviously all got to abide by that.
As to when these changes will come into play is up in the air, with negotiations yet to be finalised between the league and the Players Association.
Once that happens, then we'll have a discussion about what that looks like.
Sarah Jones, 7 News.
Matt Canavan says we need to fight to protect the Australian larrikin identity as he takes over as the leader of the Nationals following David Littleproud's shock resignation.
We need more Australian babies. We need more Australian humour, more Australian jokes. We need more Australian barbecues, sometimes often fuelled by fossil fuels. We need more Australian everything. We don't need to look overseas for our solutions.
While Clive Palmer is vowing to spam every Australian voter as he announces he'll run for federal parliament with a United Australia Party candidate in every seat. It's been confirmed Prince Harry will visit Melbourne next month, but you'll need deep pockets to see him. Live now to Blake Johnson, and Blake, Melburnians will have to fork out a king's ransom for the privilege.
Thousands of dollars for one ticket, Pete, and that's just to see one of the two former working royals. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are coming to Australia next month. The King's son speaking at an event here at Centrepiece, which is about mental health in the workplace. Tickets for that start around $2,000. It'll be even more expensive to see Meghan Markle, $3,000. She's headlining a weekend wellness retreat at the Intercontinental at Sydney's Coogee Beach.
This will be a real test as to how devoted fans are in Australia, how many of them are, and how much they're willing to pay. Now, the event in Sydney is only available for 300 tickets, so it's a relatively small event. In Melbourne, we're talking about a very sizable conference. I think that's the one that's going to be a very hard sell.
This tour, very different to the last time the couple was here. That was a royal tour. This time they're private citizens making money for themselves. At this stage, not yet clear if Meghan will be on the Melbourne leg with Harry. Peter?
Blake Johnson, thank you. Back to the footy now, and the Blues get their chance at redemption tomorrow night. Beck, Maddern, the teams are in for their clash against the Tigers.
Well, Peter, it is normally the game to kick off the whole season, but it's still a traditional blockbuster at the MCG. And of course, Carlton will be hoping to turn the tables after last year's shock loss. Now, Carlton will be without Adam Sard, who's nursing a hamstring injury. Moya and Reedy have been dropped. No Nick Vlaston for the Tigers after ankle and back injuries in the pre-season. Now, Sam Grill will make his debut shortly in sport. His coach reveals why he's a bit of a hothead. Also, the Hawks hoping to bury the headlines ahead of their Friday night grudge match against the Bombers. New colours and a fresh coat of paint. Charlie Curnow opens up on his lifestyle change in Sydney. And the second highest scoring game ever in the NBA by a single player. It was quite some feat. I'll have those details for you shortly.
Looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Beck. Police are on the verge of breaking open a cold case mystery. Next, the Victorian man ordered to stand trial over the death of his wife 35 years after this kitchen confrontation.
That's the last time. I saw it.
Also ahead on 7 News, Dora, the stolen puppy, finally back in the arms of her South Yarra family. A heartwarming moment as Melburnians set a freezing cold new world record. And later, one of our own bravely speaks out. Mel McLaughlin reveals why she suddenly disappeared from 7 screens. A Melbourne grandfather charged with murdering his first wife has been ordered to stand trial. Craig Freeman was arrested last year, more than 3 decades after Melinda Freeman was found dead in their Whittlesea home.
That's the last time. I saw it.
Today, the 63-year-old formally pleaded not guilty to her murder.
How do you feel about going to trial?
The cold case has been fast-tracked to the Supreme Court. Dora, the 10-month-old stolen cavoodle, has been found safe and well after she was snatched from Chapel Street on Monday. Security footage of the dog napping helped police track down the accused culprits before returning the puppy to her family.
A heartwarming reunion for Dora and her overjoyed owner.
It's amazing relief.
2 days after the puppy was snatched by thieves.
It has been absolute roller coaster of my emotions.
The 10-month-old cavoodle was stolen from outside a South Yarra shopping centre while Frank was inside.
So much fear and dread, but trepidation.
3 women were caught on CCTV at the time Dora was taken, sparking a police investigation across Melbourne. This morning, police found the pup at a Noble Park home 30 kilometres away, arresting a woman at the property. Frank, happy to get the call he and his young daughter Claire were hoping for.
No one hugs Dora more than our daughter Claire.
The 19-year-old who was arrested this morning has been charged with theft, and a 27-year-old woman handed herself in. She was released pending further inquiries. Police are still looking for a third suspect.
We'd encourage people not to leave their dogs unattended outside shopping centres.
Dora was a little shaky after her ordeal, but thankfully uninjured. Tonight there will be cuddles at home where she belongs. Ainsley Kosh, 7 News.
Almost 1,000 Melbourne school students have braved freezing conditions for a mighty cause. They took part in the biggest ever ice bucket challenge, shivering their way to a world record.
Freezing for a cause.
3, 2, 1, go!
Cold comfort for a record 979 teenagers dunking themselves in icy water for Fight MND.
It was like a shock of coldness.
It felt really refreshing and good.
Refreshing?
Yes. It's really cold though right now. Very exciting to be a part of all this world record.
One lucky organiser of a community do-it-yourself big freeze like this will slide in the big freeze at the G. This inspires Neil Danaher.
I reckon it'll give him quite a few laughs, actually, Nick. I think there was so much going on, there was so much energy.
It was also a great opportunity for students to see their principal suffer. Robin Thompson delighted in delighting her students, but her reason for being here was deeply personal.
My sister passed away from MND just before Easter last year, so to be here today and to honour her means a hell of a lot to me.
And is she in your mind at the moment?
Oh, absolutely. Every day. Every day.
Nick McCallum, 7 News.
Congratulations to all. Meteorologist Jane Bunn joins us now, and Jane, gusty storms brought a wild afternoon.
Oh, Mitch, the dawn sky was a precursor to this line of gusty thunderstorms. Made the temperature plummet as squalls over 90 k's an hour ripped through Essendon. Despite our recent rain, this whipped up dust seen from Werribee to the city and into the east as the violent but short-lived wind hit. The storms have now cleared, with gusty showers to follow on a chilly night. I'll have more on our first taste of autumn here after Sport, Mitch.
OK, thank you very much, Jane. Australia's Katy Perry has just taken down her pop star namesake in a high court battle with even higher consequences. That's next. Also ahead on 7 News, the controversial piece of art with titanic repercussions for President Trump. And the 4 reasons why Melbourne has just been crowned the world's best city. It's official, Melbourne has just been crowned the world's best city. From our major events to our coffee, a global survey has found Melbourne is the place to be.
Magical Melbourne, now recognised as the world's best.
This is the first time an Australian city has topped that list.
Thousands cast their votes for Time Out magazine, which ranked the 50 top cities globally.
On topics like food, affordability, nightlife, happiness levels, overall city vibes and culture.
We trumped Shanghai, Edinburgh, London and New York, with Sydney ranking 21st and Adelaide 29th, and it's easy to see why. From our world-class sporting events to mega music shows, it's the city where Cruffins were born.
The food's amazing and the people are great.
From hidden gems in cool laneways to our incredible coffee.
Do you see lines basically everywhere?
Pretty much. Sandwiches, cookie shops, bakeries, all sorts of places, bars. There's always a line.
I think this is only going to propel Melbourne onto bigger and better things.
Penguins to Pellegrini's, markets to musicals, there's something for everyone.
It's just a really pretty city with great architecture.
Locals praise the city for its walkability, green spaces and easy access to nature. And while no city is perfect, Melbourne ranked highly on Time Out's happiness index.
What do we love so much about Melbourne?
I don't know, there's always so much going on, so much sport. The coffee's really good.
The options in entertainment, food and everything else.
I love the history of Melbourne. Some beautiful buildings.
Tyra Stowers, 7 News.
Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein have been depicted as Titanic lovers in a mysterious new art installation in Washington, D.C. Titled King of the World, a plaque underneath points out the similarities between the president's friendship with the pedophile and Jack and Rose's tragic love story, including raucous parties, luxurious travel and nude sketches. It's the battle of the Katy Perrys that's gone all the way to the High Court. But today, a Sydney fashion designer notched a massive legal win after an 18-year trademark battle against the global pop star.
It's the David and Goliath battle that pitted Katy against Katy.
And it's been a hard journey. It's been very long. But today, that doesn't really matter because I won.
Hunters Hill designer Katy Perry winning her long-running legal battle in the High Court, claiming a final victory against the pop star 17 years after it began.
We were all jumping up and I burst into tears.
The case centred on who has the right to sell clothes bearing the Katy Perry name. The designer applied for a trademark in 2008. A year later, the pop star's management demanded she withdraw it. In 2019, legal action began. 4 years later, designer Katy won in the federal court. That decision overturned on appeal. But today, the High Court sided with the Aussie label, believing the brand was unlikely to deceive or confuse the public.
Katy Perry had reputation, generally speaking, in entertainment and music. The High Court said she has not been able to demonstrate reputation when it comes to clothing.
In another win for the small business, the High Court has ordered the global pop star to pay the designer's legal fees, expected to run into the millions of dollars. Taylor Aiken, 7 News.
One of Seven's own has been doing it tough. Next, Mel McLaughlin opens up on the health shock that forced her off our screens for months. Also ahead, a vile attack at a Muslim community dinner in Ballarat. Why an activewear giant has just been hit with a giant fine. And straight after sport, what travel companies and airlines need you to know as the Middle East conflict throws holiday plans into chaos. There has been widespread condemnation of an alleged Islamophobic attack in Ballarat. A man is accused of throwing punches and hurling abuse at a dinner run by a local Muslim group.
People that go in to shout abuse at people and intimidate people for observing their faith, don't pretend you're patriotic. Like, that's the opposite of who we are as Australians.
Police did not arrest the 37-year-old but are considering laying charges. Now for today's finance news, here's Tim McMillan with Money Talks.
Hello, the market continues to pick up the pieces from last week's rout, although we're still down about 5% since the start of the Iran conflict. Banks and miners, especially gold, did the grunt work today. Now, mortgage holders, brace yourselves. 2 of the big 4 banks today tipping the RBA to lift rates next week and then again in May as the Middle East war pushes inflation into dangerous territory. How annoying are spam emails, especially when it's difficult to opt out? Activewear brand Lululemon has been fined $700,000 by regulator ACMA for sending 370,000 emails with no option to unsubscribe. The ASX 200 edged 0.5% higher today. Lynas secured a major rare earths deal in Japan. Orabanda issued an impressive upgrade on an Aussie gold deposit. The Australian dollar surging to nearly 72 US cents.
7 Sport presenter Mel McLaughlin has been missing from our screens for months, fighting a secret battle. Tonight, she's ready to share her story.
Where do we want to go? This way?
I don't know.
This is a wonderful walk. You're coming and going from where? up in the commentary box?
Because my good mate, my workmate, is bouncing back from the fight of her life.
I was diagnosed with lung cancer in December, so that led to surgery. I've had half my lung cut out.
Hard to believe what you've just heard from one so fit, so full of energy, and a lifelong non-smoker.
It's just very traumatic. It's very triggering. It's just a lot of emotions. And also, you don't want to worry anyone.
Especially her family. Because Mel lost her big sister Tara to lung cancer a decade ago. She was a mum of 2. She was just 39.
To pass that news on to family around Christmas time is very tough. But you're trying to tell your mum and dad who've already lost a daughter, and you're trying to tell your nephews who've already lost their mum.
Yeah, because in our family, and this is, I don't want anyone to think that this is in our family, lung cancer meant death. We have one example.
There's the left lung.
Yeah.
And that's the tumour just over here.
Going into hospital for major surgery is tough enough. But you were going into the very room, to the very ward, to the very area where you'd watched your sister battle and where you'd lost your sister.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been so, so tough.
I cried and then I laughed because it's like, is someone having is this a joke?
There's another extraordinary twist to this battle, a reason we're back at the SCG, because Mel delayed her own surgery. She insisted on hosting Melbourne's Boxing Day test and then Sydney's pink test. She wanted to work. She needed time to process.
Everyone, unfortunately, touched by cancer, but everyone is doing their bit.
On Jane McGrath Day at the SCG, she helped raise awareness and money to fight cancer, while, in between stints in the middle, Mel rushed to get last-minute blood tests. Her own operation was just a day away.
I did the pre-game. I'll be honest, I didn't watch much cricket that day. I went out to a pathology centre, which was closed, so I was like, oh my God. So I've come back, done the lunch break.
So on one of the biggest days of our sporting calendar, you are hosting, you are in the middle, shuttling back and forth to hospital to get blood tests, and you've got major surgery the very next day.
Yeah.
Do you look back and go, what the hell was I thinking?
I often do that, Fergo, as you know. Look, the intention was good. I know it probably is a bit crazy. That was brilliant.
Mel now has 3 big goals. To get better.
Recovery is slow, but good.
To get the word out.
It's awareness. It's the biggest cancer killer in the country. It's got a terrible stigma. I feel like I owe it to my sister. I just owe it to people that maybe could get something out of this.
And to get back to work.
Obviously always watching the news.
Really?
Mel knows luck was on her side, but she also truly believes.
Maybe that was my big sister. Maybe I got lucky. I don't know. I definitely think she was with me.
Looking out for you.
That's what they do, big sisters and big brothers.
We wish you nothing but the very best, Mel. Good luck. Rebecca Maddern is back with Sport and Beck. The Hawks are hoping to avoid a massive distraction this week.
Yes, Peter. Sam Mitchell wants to get back on track after 2 of his stars had a run-in with the law. Details next. Also, Cozzy Pickett jets out to Darwin, giving his new coach a headache heading into round 1. The Tigers boss reveals his bold premiership plans for the revamped club. Charlie Curnow speaks exclusively with Xander Maguire, who takes us into his new life in Sydney. And the monster performance that was better than Jordan, LeBron and Kobe. Hello again. Sam Mitchell is backing in Dylan Moore and Connor McDonald after 7 News revealed their boozy off-season run-in with the law in America. But the coach's love for a star trade target has quickly vanished.
4 months after their American dream turned nightmare, Dylan Moore and Connor McDonald again faced the music, this time with a locker room explanation to teammates.
Those 2 boys in particular
have been outstanding citizens over the journey of their time at our club and even before our club.
Once a little bit of the original dust settles, then we have a couple of eyeball conversations about standards of behaviour and expectations.
On field, the fierce Hawks-Bombers rivalry gets set for another chapter. The first clash since the club's failed pursuit of Zach Merritt, but it hasn't stopped questions about the former Essendon skipper's future.
I think that's 3, might even be 4 count. Is that 4? That counts as 4. He plays for them right now, so he's the enemy.
A bit more love for Mr Fix-It Blake Hardwick as he notches game 200 on Friday night. Even he poked fun at Merritt's failed move, comparing Essendon to famous American prison Alcatraz.
I actually used to go for Essendon, that's the funny part, when I was younger, so now I'm on the opposite side of it, so it was just a bit of a laugh with a few mates. Hopefully they didn't take it too seriously.
Melbourne's Cozzy Pickett is set to face the Saints despite heading to Darwin for personal leave. Stephen King says the D's have come a long way since Nazaya the Messiah reigned at Marvel.
We've trained, I think, over summer some game management scenarios where the boys have taken some ownership in terms of getting one back or whatever. I think we're just really looking forward to kick-starting our 26 campaign.
Theodoropoulos, 7 News.
The impatient Tigers are already plotting their next premiership. 7 News was given inside access to Punt Road on the eve of their clash with Carlton.
Richmond's new $100 million Jack Dyer stand ahead of schedule and pending final government funding due for completion mid-next year. It's where the Tigers expect to display their 14th cup, now with a fixed timeline.
We've set about a new strategic plan for the club and that'll see us through the next 5 years. Clearly in that plan we want to win our next AFL premiership and our first AFLW premiership.
Brendan Gale once set an ambitious 3-flag plan that came to fruition. Dunn's made on-field objective to have Adam Uze exceed Chris Fagan's maiden Lions premiership in his 8th year at the helm.
We're impatient. We want to do it as quicker than we possibly can, so that's why we're fast-tracking development in our players. We also want to make sure that this is the destination club in the AFL for both players and for staff.
Teenager Sam Grill told he'll debut tomorrow night against Carlton, the pick number 8, known for his speed and competitive edge.
His will to win is next level. He swears at the umpires out here, which half the time they're coaches. So he does get really animated because he wants to win.
But Nick Vlastuin will watch on. A back injury followed post-season ankle surgery.
Hasn't got that volume of game time leading into round 1. It'll be too high risk.
Mitch Cleary, 7 News.
Swan star Charlie Curnow says his move to Sydney was the fresh start he needed. The former Blue invited 7 News into his sea change, living just a drop punt from the beach.
He's closed the door on his time at Icon Park and opened his account in fine fashion at the Swans.
Xander, how are you?
Mate, I'm good. Let's do this.
Come in.
Charlie Curnow granted 7 News access to his new beachside Tamarama house as he lined his new walls with Taubman's paint.
We need red, don't we, Xander?
Symbolic of the fresh start overall, isn't it?
Symbolic. It is. It is. We all need it. We all need it at times.
That start went to plan on Thursday. 3 goals in a 63-point win on debut, plus the odd playful scuffle with an ex-teammate.
Sammy Walsh has got some awful chat, so it didn't bother me too much.
He's still getting used to the different sounds of the SCG.
It's a different passion for the game, which is kind of funny, which is if people are doing big tackles, no one's screaming at the umpires calling ball. And I don't know, it's just different when you come up here.
Just as the sparkling sands of Sydney have been an adjustment, Tamarama Beach just a 2-minute walk from his front door.
I'm not going to be that guy that rips on Melbourne all the time, but no, it's not bad. It's nice. Take the dog straight down there and enjoy a bit of a swim before training.
But it's the cultural shift that has arguably been more important. A video of him winning a beer sculling contest at a Sydney trivia night went viral, but in this city, at times, he's just another pub goer.
People were awesome early days. They'd shout out "Welcome to Sydney" and stuff, but it's super chilled out. There's not nowhere near as much. I guess it's more relaxed.
Xander Maguire, 7 News.
Miami's Bam Adebayo has become the second highest scorer in a single NBA game, finishing with a staggering 83 points against Washington. He surpasses Kobe Bryant's 81 points 20 years ago and sits only second behind Wilt Chamberlain's 100.
It's a special moment. It's Wilt, me, then Kobe, which sounds crazy.
He also made 36 free throws, the most ever in NBA history. Well done, Bam. Not bad. Hey, Darcy Moore is a special guest on Agenda Setters at 7:30pm on 7 Mate and 7plus. Then Mitch at 8:30. Of course, it's the front bar with Jack Gunston and AFL boss Andrew Dillon on.
Call that a double header, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Good viewing tonight.
Thank you very much, Beck. An overseas holiday is about to get much more expensive as soaring fuel prices are passed on to passengers. The war in the Middle East is causing chaos for travel plans, but it's not stopping demand.
Flying overseas with some airlines is about to be more expensive. A shaky jet fuel price, up 58% in a week, means Qantas and Jetstar will increase the cost of international airfares by around 5%. Domestic airfares remain unchanged. Air New Zealand is raising airfares on all flights.
It's reflecting the uncertainty that airlines have. I mean, fuel is one of their biggest expenses.
No word from the airlines yet if they'll reduce airfares when jet fuel prices stabilise.
It really will depend on where these fuel prices end up, because I think we saw a huge leap on Monday and they significantly went back yesterday.
Despite 43,000 flight cancellations, demand remains strong. Qantas flights to London and Paris are more than 90% full. Passenger numbers up 15% on this time last year.
What seems surprising at the moment is that the Middle Eastern war doesn't seem to have put off people travelling by air. It's just changing their routes.
If you have a flight with a Middle East carrier coming up, the advice is do not cancel it. Wait until the airline makes a change. Otherwise, you risk losing rights to a refund.
I have, in a few weeks' time, a flight on Emirates, and I'm certainly holding on to it. I think I'll be surprised if things aren't back to some level of normality then.
Cricket teams have been stuck in India after the World Cup. The West Indies for over a week, flying out today on commercial airlines after constant charter cancellations. Blake Johnson, 7 News.
Jane's back now with the forecast. Jane, what's on the way tomorrow?
Well, Mitch, it's our first taste of autumn. We've got grey skies and light showers. And on tonight's bright side, a double bundle of baby joy for one Melbourne family. Hello again. A line of gusty storms across the Melbourne area, whipping up dust and wreaking havoc. The patchy light rain cleared. Up next was this line of storms. When they hit, they bring a squall, a sudden violent burst of wind. They also let the temperature plummet. It is cold tonight. When that first hit, the wind in Avalon gusted 87 k's an hour. Fawkner Beacon off St Kilda 89, Eston 93, whipping up dust in that quick and violent wind. It has been an interesting day. The city's weather station went offline at 10:30 and came back at 12:30. By that stage, we'd had the cool change, so we don't actually know what the maximum was. But around town, it was anywhere from 26 to 29. Now, that was this morning. The cool change made it mild this afternoon. Then the cold change is having an impact with our chilly night ahead. The two-pronged milder change, then cold change, is thanks to a two-punch hit, a trough followed by a cold front. 5 millimetres at the southwest coast, decreasing as you head inland as all of this pushed eastwards. But under a storm, there have been quick totals of 10 millimetres. Ahead of this, there were gusts over 100 k's an hour in the Alps. The trough and cold front arrive with a bang, but the low that is driving the front is so far down to our south it is off the page. There's no connection up to tropical moisture. So there's gusty winds, yes, and isolated heavy totals, but no significant widespread rain. Behind this, we have winds coming up from well south of here. So tomorrow brings a taste of autumn. These chilly greens are at the warmest part of the day. Around the nation tomorrow, warm and sunny in Brisbane. Sydney has a cool change, reaching Canberra at night. Gusty showers in Hobart, cold enough for snow on the mountain in the evening. Mild in Adelaide, mostly sunny in Perth. To Victoria, southwestern and south central parts have areas of grey low cloud, isolated showers passing through. It's dry in the southeast and north with some cloud at times. Temperatures are down and closer in. Tomorrow brings steely grey skies and light showers passing through. All day in the east, mainly the afternoon in the west. We're looking at gusty southwest winds, ensuring a chilly day. It's our first proper taste of autumn. I'm expecting just 18 in the city. Keep the umbrella handy. To the 8-day outlook, those grey skies and light showers return on Friday morning. It clears up during the afternoon, about 20. As we go into the weekend, temperatures jump back up. It is just a blip here for 2 days. 25 and 25 cloud building, just a light spit of rain, then mid to low 20s next week. Just 18 tomorrow, grey skies and light showers passing through. Now to tonight's Bright Side. Little Leo and his family have 220,000 reasons to smile. Mum Sushaya and Dad Les are among the 250,000 Victorian families to reap the rewards of the state's free baby bundle. Inside, a nappy bag, safe sleeping bag, sun hat, grow suit and picture books, saving new parents $150. Well, now some quick maths. That's $33 million saved since the program launched.
Quick maths
I've got my
indeed.
calculator
Well done, Jane. Thank you very much. And that's the way it is this Wednesday, the 11th of March. Thanks for your company. For now, from the 7 News team, good night.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.